All right, and we are live. Anything to say, DB, before we get started?
No.
Podcasting, the final audio frontier. These are the legends of Brown Squadron.
Our computer is picking up a strange signal. Here, sir, you better take a look at it.
The ongoing mission? To explore the Star Wars universe and other nerd culture topics. To seek new content and new cantinas, bars, and lounges. To boldly annoy Scruffy by making too many bad jokes. Welcome to the Hyperspace Heroes Podcast.
All right, and welcome to episode 70. Was it 76? 76 of Hyperspace Heroes, or 101 on the Spotchka timeline. And this is Brown Leader signing in. All wings report in.
Brown 2 signing in.
Brown 4 is present.
All right, and here we are. A few episodes into Bad Batch, but we're also going to bring on a guest tonight. We have a special guest for tonight's show. This is episode, as I said, 76, and we're calling it DB and Scruffy are jealous of our guest, Star Wars Thrifting. All so three of us, definitely. So all three of us have been following her on the socials for a while. She's a pretty cool collector, and so I reached out a while ago and wanted to have her on because as all of our watchers, I kind of remember to say watchers because we have watchers now, listeners and watchers.
More than one?
Plural.
Yes. So, and I know one. I know there's at least one watching us right now, and he said he's going to jump into the chat. But so we've been following Silver from Star Wars Thrifting for quite some time, and super jealous of some of the finds that she gets. And from what I've seen, kind of a big collector of the prequel era stuff. And she also has a podcast called Into the Garbage Chute with her co-host. And so I think, without further ado, let's
bring her on.
Yeah, all right.
Bring her.
Welcome, Silver.
Hey,
Hi,
welcome.
everyone. Thanks for having me on. Hello.
Absolutely.
Great to have you.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Yeah. So, Silver, why don't you tell us a little bit about your what you do in the Star Wars universe, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, so I'm a huge collector. As you guys were mentioning, my name, on the socials, it's Star Wars Thrifting. It's pretty self-explanatory. I love thrifting. I love Star Wars, so I mesh those two worlds together, and I'm able to collect all secondhand, but also through experiences like going to the flea markets, the garage sales. It's been a big part of me growing up in my childhood. So I'm able to find some really cool gems just by just committing all weekend to hunting and seeing what's out there. And I've been able to accumulate some great stuff. I love the fact that my collection also tells a story of who I am, because every piece of my collection, there's a really cool story behind how I got into things. So it's been a really fun time. I've been on the socials the last 3 years, and it's just been nothing but a blast. So I've been having a great time getting to meet awesome people such as yourselves. I love meeting new friends. And I love that we can have this big thing that we all, that we have such in common. And it's been really fun.
Absolutely. And I think one of the reasons that we've been following you on social in today's day and age, it's so easy that when stuff's coming out, you just click a button with your mouse on the computer and you got it ordered and it's shipped right to you. And the thing I love following you on social about is it's the thrill of the hunt, and you never know what you're going to find. And it reminds us of back in our day, when back before we had, online sales and everything, we had to go from store to store to store to store to find everything.
Yeah, back when I had hair.
Right, you got to get in and drive somewhere to
ago.
go get it, right?
Right on.
I remember those days. I'd get up in the morning on my day off, and I had my circuit, and I could actually find something, which kind of sucked all the fun out of collecting lately. Is how difficult it is to find anything anymore.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
So, well, welcome. And first thing we like to ask our guests is, what does Star Wars mean to you?
Oh man, that's a heavy question. Star Wars means everything to me. No, just it means a huge deal to me. Star Wars is. I was introduced to Star Wars because of my family. My really cool dad and my really cool uncles got me into the original trilogy. I have a big family. So during Christmas morning, Return of the Jedi is playing on the TV every single year. I remember being young and the special editions coming out and that being a huge thing for, my dad and my uncles getting excited. So I always, when I think about Star Wars, I think about my family. It's just something that's been part of my childhood. Even now I'm 35 years old and I'm still able to enjoy it with my family and friends. And it's just a big part of who we are. And it means a huge deal. And mainly it's just my family ties behind it. It's just, again, it's just part of my childhood. And I've just been able to, just to love it at a very young age. It wasn't hard convincing. It's not like my family forced me. I feel like I naturally gravitated towards it. You guys mentioned earlier, I like to collect a lot of prequel stuff. It's because those were the movies that were just in theaters. I was able to experience that on the big screen. And again, just holds just so much nostalgia for me. But it means a huge deal just because of just the family ties that I have with it. So that's a big part of who I am.
Very cool. Very cool. DB?
Tell us about your first Star Wars experience. You kind of alluded a little bit already.
Yeah. The first Star Wars experience, man, it's really hard to just pinpoint, but I will say a big one is watching The Phantom Menace in theaters. Because I remember going opening weekend. I didn't do the midnight showing. I was too young, but I remember going on that Friday and just experiencing a big movie like that in theaters with a whole tons of fans who have been waiting years for a new Star Wars movie. You just felt the excitement. Again, I talk about my parents and my family feeling that excitement also, but I mean, I think just going to the theaters in general and experiencing something huge like that with an audience, it's something that just does something to you, that communal experience. I can't shake that feeling I had when I saw Phantom Menace in theaters. And, that was an experience. That was something that I left the theater thinking my imagination was just running wild. And I remember, I think we went to Chevy's or we went to some restaurant afterwards to go eat. And I just was in the parking lot, just pretending I had a lightsaber. Just so that was just a huge thing. So as far as experience, it was just seeing that movie in theaters.
So you would have been right around 8, 9-ish when that came out?
I was 10. I was 10 when I was either 9 or 10. I can't really.
So you're about the same age we were when we saw A New Hope in the theater.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, when you're that age, it's like, oh
absolutely.
my gosh, what did I just see? Your brain is like mush at the end. You're just like, what was that?
Yep.
Especially coming out of Duel of the Fates, and that's just wow. I mean, what an ending to that movie. It's crazy.
Yeah, that was the first time we saw full speed Jedi in action,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very cool first experience. So so you're located so one of the reasons that I called this episode jealous that Scruffy and DB are jealous of you, because you live in an area, because you're over in California, correct?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and so we're up in way northern Michigan.
Okay.
I don't know. Anyway, so way up in northern Michigan, and we don't have my wife does a pretty good job thrifting around here, finding stuff for me. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's we
But
don't.
she doesn't find Lucasfilm exclusives or Crew
Oh,
exclusives or
yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
I'm in a very lucky area. I am born and raised California. I'm in San Jose. I'm in the Bay Area. So I don't know, the birth of Star Wars, you may say. I don't
Mhm.
know. Yes. So I'm near San Francisco. I'm about 40 minutes away from Lucasfilm. But being in the Bay Area, and just like I would just say thrifting is just a big part of our culture in the Bay Area. I mean, everyone just take, everyone's just big on, getting rid of stuff, recycling. I mean, we have thrift stores that are just as almost as huge as like just department stores at this point. It's pretty
Wow.
insane. Also, just like in the area, I'm very fortunate to be around like these huge flea markets and swap meets, and that's just a big deal. Again, just part of the culture that's out here. But yes, living close by to Lucasfilm, it has nice advantages for sure. Also, we just take just such pride, especially the Bay Area, that Star Wars was, the birthplace of Star Wars was here. So we have a lot of big Star Wars collectors, Star Wars fans. There's a lot of Star Wars clubs nearby. Clubs as in like, we can all we have these big meetups and do like fun Star Wars things together, which is really, really fun. But yeah, I've been it's so interesting I would go to a thrift store and I'll see a Lucasfilm like crew shirt because it's they're tossing it away because it's they probably it doesn't fit them anymore. They don't work for the company anymore or for whatever reason. You just donate a shirt. It may not be a big deal to them because it's just a job, but like for someone like me, I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. But it's a nice advantage that I have. So
Yeah, so please forgive me if I cry when you say things like this.
Yeah. And I laugh because you talk about your big meetups. Our idea of a big meetup is we go hang out in each other's office and talk about Star Wars. And
Yeah.
that's our Northern Michigan big meetup right there.
Yeah, we have some really cool meetups. It's really fun. Like this, we have like it's really cool. We have actually there's just going to be this really fun Indiana Jones meetup coming up. I think in a few. Gosh, is it in 2 months? Anyways, they're gonna go like to all like the areas that inspired parts of the movies, like this little like fun tour. But people are gonna be dressed up. It's just really fun, just like the nerd and just the atmosphere. Everyone's just big fans here in the area. So, yeah, it's really fun. I actually used to live next to a Star Wars themed bar, but just during the pandemic, they weren't able to, unfortunately come back after. But it was really fun. It was just a Star Wars themed bar with Star Wars themed drinks. They had some like paper mache Jabba the Hutt at the end of the bar. It was just really fun. They would just play Star Wars movies all day long. It was just really fun. Like you can go watch an important football game. But yeah, they would have it, but they would also have you'd be watching Empire Strikes Back also. So it was just really fun vibes.
I hate living in Northern Michigan. I want to move.
That's funny.
No, to be fair, most winters, not this winter, but most winters, our area resembles Hoth.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, true.
That's very true. Very true.
I don't feel any better, but okay.
yeah, I'm trying to be jealous. We're in Northern Michigan, Silver. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I'm
So
over here we have Star Wars bars down the street.
what's so is this something that you primarily do on the weekends, or are you always kind of on the hunt even during the week, or
It's I started my social media stuff during the pandemic because I was going just every single day. Well, I just had a lot of time where I was able to do that. Just because with work and stuff, going back to work, heading back to the office, it's really hard to do throughout the week. But I just fully commit myself on the weekends. That because it's just a fun thing for me to do. It's something that I enjoy. Unless I have an prior engagement or I'm busy and I can't, make it, whatever. I still will try my darndest to make it out. and I go early in the morning. People think I'm nuts. I don't sleep in on the weekends. I have my thing. I get up early in the morning, I get my coffee, and then I head out to the flea markets. I have I'll look up any garage sales or any like other events going on that weekend. Sometimes there's like random pop-up flea markets or antique marts that just will show up. So I like to make sure I know, what's going on. But also I check out like Craigslist, OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace. There's sometimes people are getting rid of things over the weekend because they're cleaning their stuff out. So I make sure I try and map it out. But yes, weekends, I'm busy. So don't ask me to do anything the weekends. Don't ask me to do anything the night before because I need to wake up early because I have commitments.
Right on. Right on.
Have
Right on.
commitments. Awesome.
So one of the things that I know you have on your social and I wish I grabbed a picture for the live stream, is there were two things that I know that have stood out to me over the last couple of years. One is your Pepsi machine. Yeah. So tell us the story behind that. That's what a find.
Yeah, that Pepsi machine is funny. It's a crazy story, but I had a friend message me, and said, hey, he lives closer to Oakland, but he messaged me because he was on Facebook Marketplace for whatever reason. He's all, hey, check this link out. And I look, and it doesn't say anything Star Wars. It's just it just says old vending machines for sale. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm scrolling through, but on the ninth image is the episode 1 Pepsi machine. And I'm just like, what? I doubled over. I couldn't even believe it. So I messaged the person. They took forever to respond. Like, I don't know. They responded in within 20 minutes. That was the quick response. For me, it felt like 20 hours. It was the worst thing ever. And, we talked and I said, hey, is this available? How much we're talking? And he's just like, I'm just trying to get rid of these. Can you come pick it up soon? I said, I'm actually heading out of town this weekend. I cannot make it this weekend. Can we schedule to next weekend? I'll go pick it up. He said, sure, that's fine. I'll hold it for you. And I'm just like, in my mind, I'm like, there's no, someone is going to find this. I'm like, can we, I don't know. I was desperate. I'm like, could we figure out a payment right now? Like, I completely trust you, even though I don't advise that for anybody. Again, to just like,
no, but you got to do what you got to do.
But yeah, I was desperate. I don't care. I wanted to let him know that I was serious, and but also I didn't want him to know I was that serious. Because if I was that serious, he's gonna probably be like, if she really wants this, I'm gonna up the price. So I didn't want to come off as like too desperate, but desperate enough to be like, look, I'm really serious. I'm really honest. I will pick this up. Mind you, I don't have a truck. I don't a half-ton machine, heavy machine like that. You can't just put it in the back of a pickup truck.
Right.
I was gonna, act first, and I'll plan things out later. So, anyways, I go out of town. It's gonna be a whole 9 days before I even go and pick up this thing after we spoke. I messaged this guy every day just to make sure, hey, letting you know that I'm still serious. Can't wait. I'll pick it up. Just let him know, because I've been burned before. Where I'll go and make a deal and, go pick something up, whether it's on Craigslist or something. A deal's not a deal until that machine is in my possession and I'm on my way home with it. That's just how things can change in an instant. Someone else might be like, I can pick it up tomorrow. And, he probably just wants to get out of the way. So it was the most stressful 9 days of my life. But long and behold, I was able to pick it up. Husband and I, we rented what did we rent? It was like a box truck type deal thing. They had a forklift and they were able to load it on for us. I don't care as long as we loaded it. The getting out of the truck was the issue. That was intense. It was an all day thing. I drove 2 hours to go pick it up. It was a fun experience. I guess the guy used to have a beverage company, so he had tons of like vending machines and things that he was just trying to get rid of. So I got really lucky, and it's actually in great condition. Believe it or not, it still works.
Oh, awesome!
That's awesome. It's a very nice piece of machine that the nice machine that I have. It just hanging out in my garage currently.
That's awesome.
That's
Wow.
awesome.
Very cool.
All right, and the story we all want to know: the video game.
Oh, the
The pod
arcade.
racer, the pod
Yeah.
racer game.
Okay, that's another interest. Those are I make these crazy decisions and not knowing how the heck I'm going to transport this thing back. So
We don't know anything about that. No.
Yeah, no,
yeah, you're just like,
that.
yeah. So this pod, I think I saw it on. I'm constantly on OfferUp and like Facebook. I'm constantly seeing what's around the area, and then sure enough, one day, I was at my grandfather's birthday party. So I'm at the birthday party. This is a big no. I'm at the birthday party, and I was like, oh my gosh, is that what I think it is? And sure enough, it was like blurry pictures, but it was an arcade racer. Like, hey, I'm moving out of the state. Can't hold this anymore. Can someone pick it up today? Message the person. Hey, I'm on my way. I can pick it up right now. And, yeah. I'm middle of my grandpa's birthday party. I'm over here and like leaving the room and trying to like make this, I felt very wrong doing it, but I was just excusing myself from the dinner, trying to figure out how I'm going to go pick up this thing, line to the guy, say, I'll pick it up. And like, I'm on my way right now. I'll go pick it up. I don't have any means to pick it up. How can I ask for help? I don't want to ask my family or anybody like, hey, we got to leave to go pick up this machine because I did. Yeah. I was like, I cannot get my family involved in this one. Cause normally I'd be able to like call and like, be like, hey, let me borrow, help me out with this. But I don't know. There's just something really like a big no for everyone to just be like, hey, we got to leave grandpa's birthday party because we got to go pick up this machine. So I excused myself from the dinner. I said, hey, I got to head out early. I'll come right back. As I'm heading home, I'm texting my neighbor like, hey, can you guys help me out? We got to pick up this machine, blah, blah, blah. They were nice enough to help me out. But so I picked up this arcade machine. Everything, it was in working order. They even had the manual to go with it. So the owner used to have like a pizza joint years ago. So he had a bunch of arcade games. He was just trying to get rid. So I got really lucky with these two big pieces. It just happened to be people who had a business, have had it throughout the years. They just really got to just like, just get rid of it. So I practically got this machine for free. He just needed it out of his house.
Because that's a very expensive piece.
It's a very expensive piece.
And fragile to boot.
Mm-hmm.
Fragile.
Yes.
Fragile is the key word because switchboard is a very any bump, anything when you're taking out. It was again that was more stressful than the soda machine, and I was just I was probably like 2 miles away from my house picking up the arcade as opposed to the 2-hour trip that I took for this machine. That was the most stressful 2-mile drive from the past owner's house to my house. It was just like, oh my gosh, this thing we're gonna mess up the switchboard. I'm not gonna be able to play it. But I mean, it works. Everything was good. The only thing I did have, I don't know, there was something, I just felt like one of the levers, it was registering, but it wasn't, it was like a small delay. So I did have to call a game, like an arcade mechanic to do it. So, I mean, I did spend, for him to come and like check it out, order the part, I don't know, it was like $150. So, I mean, I did have to put some money towards it. But again, I practically got this machine for free. It was insane. I paid more for the mechanic to come fix it.
Right on. Hey,
Wow.
but it's worth it. I mean, absolutely.
That is so awesome.
Such a unique piece to have.
It is. Yeah. It's really cool that the manual's still there. It's really fun. Yeah, it's in great. That's another thing that's in great condition. Even the mechanic, or I don't know, the game technician, not mechanic, the game technician. I don't know. It's a pod race, so maybe mechanic. The game technician came and he said, "This is this game in this condition. How old it is? This is a very nice." And he told me, he's like, "If you ever want to get rid of it, call me. I'll buy it off you." I'm like, "Sir, I don't think so.
Not happening.
Yeah, not happening.
That's cool. That's very cool. DB, got any questions?
Too many.
So pick one.
I don't know if it's questions or if it's jealous comments, but you live in such a larger metropolitan area. I mean, I used to, and we're talking in the early 2000s, I used to go out and do the garage sailing thing early every Saturday. And I managed to pick up some decent pieces back in the day. I got a full Kenner snow walker for like
Nice.
$10 at a garage sale.
Yeah.
But now, especially with Marketplace and eBay and everything, and people say, I know what I got, you know, I want $1,000 for this, you know, Luke Skywalker, and it's not even a double telescoping, you know, lightsaber or whatever. How do you find these deals? I mean, is it just the constant effort?
Yeah. I mean, I'm only posting the wins, right?
Okay.
You know, I'm
sure.
I don't think everyone really knows, like, kind of like I go, you know, it's not always a big winner. It's not always I find something. But it is, I mean, it is constant. I mean, just because I do make it a habit to go every weekend. I'm also just really fortunate with these flea markets in this area. I'm in San Jose, and there's 2 big flea markets, and these are just from like vendors from all over the North Bay who come to these flea markets, and they are buying everything that they're selling. It's all like storage auctions and storage buyouts. So they're going and just like throwing it on a tarp, and hopefully they'll make their money back, and they want to make a profit off whatever they bid off. But it is constant. I find actually, like, lately, the last year, the thrift stores have just been, I mean, just ridiculous. I feel like, as far as like, they've been upping the price on a lot of things, and the thrift stores are just, I think they're just they're just basing their stuff on eBay prices. I was able to find like some good stuff at the thrift stores, but now they're just being like, okay, before they put it at, you know, they actually go and actually do their research, and then they put like the price on. So it's really hard. It's not as often I get stuff at the thrift stores anymore like I used to. Because before, that's, you know, I've gotten pretty lucky there. But these swap meets, these flea markets, it's really fun. It's almost just like, and half the time these vendors, I don't think, they just don't know what they have. They just, again, they buy this big storage unit full of boxes. They take it to the thing. And I mean, if some of them will, you know, it's like, what's that? It's like, I forget, Storage Wars or something. It's like, so you do have like the vendors who are like real pickers, who are like, okay, you know, I'm going to pull out the stuff that I can sell on eBay. But also, most of the time, it's just a lot of vendors who are just like, I'm just trying to flip this and get like a quick buck for my bang, I guess. So, but yeah, so I've had my fails. I've had where it's not, I come home empty handed. But you know, I feel like I've learned not to like put myself through the ringer or feel bad about it. I've learned to be like, okay, you know, it didn't happen today. That means there's something good coming soon. So that took time for me to get to that point. Or sometimes I'll just leave something, and then like I will regret it and be like, I should have got it.
Oh,
but, yeah.
This kid right here.
Yeah, but I've learned to be like, you know what, that means something out. I you know, if the force wills it, it will, you know, it'll happen.
Well,
so
when you go out, do you have a focus, or are you just looking for anything that might tickle your fancy that day?
Anything that probably tickles my fancy that day. I used to just kind of be focused on, okay, I want this specific, you know, era and start. Honestly, it's whatever. I've learned to kind of just like not get everything that just says Star Wars and just has to do with it. Because before, in the beginning, I was just like, couldn't control myself. I just would get it. But now I've learned to be like, okay, well, you know, again, if it tickles my fancy, then I'll get it. I'll pick it up.
Mhm.
That was my next big question was at what point in time did you finally learn that just because it says Star Wars you
Yeah,
shouldn't buy it?
I don't have to get it.
'Cause,
It took a
I
while.
have
I want to say it took a year.
a year. Okay, hey, you did better than me then, because
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have a lot of stuff in this house that says Star Wars on it that I really need to figure out how am I going to get rid of this.
yeah. I took a year. I remember I just would have so much stuff and I'd be like, okay, I just don't want to just, if it's fun and cool and meaningful, then I'll pick it up. But if it's something that I'm just like, I can maybe live, past that. Or, just I see something, I'll pass it along to a friend. I'll be like, hey, thought of you. Here you go. But again,
That's
and it's just varies. It's not, people think like you just go. I don't go after the rare, super rare. Like I don't care like what it's worth. If it's fun and cool looking, I'll pick it up. Like I actually just picked up it's 2 episode 1 PC ROM games, and they're
Oh.
still in the box, the manual, and it has the
Oh, nice.
LucasArts. I'm like, that's fun, It's
Yeah,
probably
those
not worth
are cool.
much, but it's cool. So,
right.
It doesn't matter what it's worth. If it makes you happy, that's all that matters.
Yeah,
Right.
so I like the cool weird stuff. I like a lot of like promo, like display stuff. I just got a Revenge of the Sith lottery ticket. It was like the super lotto display of like, oh, buy your lotto tickets here, and it's like the Revenge of
Oh,
the Sith
that's
Darth
awesome.
Vader. It's like it probably was hung up like on a convenience store, but it's really fun. I thought it was neat. I was like, oh, this is fun to just have.
Yeah.
Because it's just something you can't really just pick up and get. So I like to go after the things that are just, they're rare, not because of what they're worth, but they're rare. It's like, who really has something like this?
A lot of those display pieces are very hard to come by because they were just thrown away afterwards.
Yeah, they were destroyed, right? They were thrown away, just tossed in the
DB's having flashbacks right now.
What happened?
I managed a video rental store for many years, and a lot of those displays might be here in the man cave. I can neither confirm nor deny.
And then somebody sent you a Pepsi display piece because he had no room for it anymore.
Anything Scruffy doesn't fit in his house, it ends up in my house.
See, and here, I was thinking of you.
What a friend.
And I got a whole trunk full of stuff that I'm going to be thinking of Brown Leader tomorrow and dropping off at his house.
And it's funny you say that because when Mrs. Brown Leader is thrifting and she'll start blowing up my phone with pictures if she finds stuff, and I'm like, all right, is that something I want or is it something I can pass along to the guy? That's exactly it. Exactly.
I had a friend who worked at a Burger King back when episode 3 came out, and the side of this Burger King had this ginormous vinyl banner full of Wookiees and stuff. And
my goodness, that sounds amazing.
It is so big, I cannot put it in the man cave. There's just no room and it's rolled up.
I know somebody who has a collection in a garage that might be able to fit that.
Yeah. We can talk. We can talk.
I know what I have, $10,000.
We can talk.
Is it too big? Is it too big to put up behind the table when we go down to Ice Triple C?
We might need a couple of tables worth. It's probably 40 feet long.
I have
wrap the building in it.
I have the Taco Bell special edition Taco Bell vinyl for the special edition.
Yes.
And it's
nice.
It's long. It has Boba Fett, it has Chewbacca, it has Darth Vader. It's just the special, it's a purple one. I think I have it. I have a picture of it. But it's a big thing. And I'm like, oh man, that's gonna take work to.
Yeah, what do you do with it?
I can't even, I was like, okay, I'm really hanging it across, but I think I might have to like nail it to the ceiling where it's just like, if you look up at the ceiling, then you'll see it. But it's kind of hard to but it's a pretty, you can't really see it, but.
Oh yeah.
No, yes.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes, I know what it is. That's epic.
I should just hang it like in my backyard, maybe.
There you go.
I don't know.
There you
go.
Yeah.
That works.
So
tell me, what is the one piece you're looking for every time you go out? That one piece. What would you love to find that this would be the pinnacle of your hunting here.
The Grail piece? Is that what
It's
you're
funny
gonna
because
say?
everyone's asked me, and that changes every day. But I always go back to the C3PO tape dispenser.
Oh,
yes,
Yes.
that piece is
I
gloriously
love that
hideous.
thing.
That provocative
thing
looking
is so
3PO, I
wrong.
need it. And I'm not lying, I'm not exaggerating. I go every night on eBay and I look. I'm like, and I'm watching that thing. I'm like, if that thing gets to a price that I'm willing to just be like, okay, I'll get it. But who would I be? I'd rather just be like, if I could just find that thing in the wild,
Oh,
I would just be like, I think I'm done. I would just quit. I'd be like, it's over. We've done it all. But yes, the 3PO tape dispenser is something that I think about every day. Would love to have. I mean, imagine just having that thing like just displayed, I don't know, at your house. Like that's a conversation piece to go. And it's just,
Absolutely.
he is just, I think it's great.
I'm
love
gonna
him.
It
do
cracks
that
me up
for-
because that is the one piece I've been looking for.
It's the
For some
best.
dumb reason, I want that thing. And the other thing I'm looking for that I just can't get out of my mind is that absolutely wrong, hideous Jar Jar tongue candy thing.
Yeah.
That thing.
It's just wrong.
So I volunteer at Rancho Obi-Wan, and they have they have a display. They still have the box of when it was sold, and so they have the whole box, and there's a bunch of Jar Jar tongues. I'm just like, I just can't imagine. Just
No, that's just wrong.
I would love to have sit in those meetings and be like, yes, we're gonna have this lollipop, and you can
There's
just
Jar
it's a
Jar's
tongue,
and
and you just gotta do it.
No.
Yeah, and his mouth opens and everything. Just what kind of
No, that is just
Yeah.
wrong on so many levels.
It's so silly, right? And those are just like some silly stuff. Just like I get a kick out of like Star Wars bootleg stuff. I think those are just fun too. Just
Mhm.
I
bootleg
love
stuff.
bootleg
Those are
stuff.
fun. Those are just really fun. There's a really there's this off-license vintage Star Wars ceramic lamps. And they're really creepy looking. And I would love all of them. I would love the whole collection. I don't know if you've seen these ceramic lamps. They're like the vintage
DB
ones. If you touch it, it's hot.
DB has one.
Yeah, those are the.
Oh yes.
Yes.
That is just my.
I want that thing.
Okay,
so
so
bad.
I'm
So-
gonna
so
try
here's-
to do this. You guys see that stuff?
Yes.
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 Is that?
I don't know if you can see it.
I can't see Vader, but I see the R2.
And I've got a Vader and a Chewie.
Are those lamps?
They can be lamps. They
Okay.
my grandparents sold ceramics, and my grandmother
Nice.
painted all those, and they have interior lighting. And I think
Okay.
Yoda's is made as a bank, but they can be drilled and have harps put into them to be lamps and such.
I think those are really cool. I would like the whole set. Honestly.
Yeah, well, like you were just saying, these are priceless because my grandmother did them. You
That's
know,
amazing.
They're never going anywhere.
Yeah, you can't.
Right on.
Mhm.
So the reason I brought this back up was so we had Chris Bartlett on last week, and he's a Star Wars actor. He's Zero. He's a bunch of the droids in all the live action
Nice.
shows. He's
Yeah.
also the official He is also the official C3PO for live events, and he's gonna. There's a good chance we're going to see him at a convention at some point, and
Cool.
I'm wondering if we can convince him to if he brings the C3PO suit, if we can get him to recreate that in like life size. Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, like have him do the
Oh.
pose. Have him do like a game of Twister.
Yeah.
Oh my
That'd be
word.
great. You have to.
Chris, if you're listening, let's get this
Yes,
planned out.
Come on, brother.
You got to
Come
do
on,
it for all.
brother.
You got to do it. Do it.
Has to be done.
The
Has to be
fandom
done.
the Phantom's counting on you. You got to recreate it.
Absolutely. So, and then
I am not going to get that out of my head.
Oh, I know.
Thank you. Wrecked me.
And before we move on to, because we'll talk about your podcast,
Yeah.
but before we do that, I wanted the guys to see this, which
Oh,
is
yeah.
I pulled that from your Instagram, and so there it is. They're getting ready to load it up for her.
is.
So
The guy, yeah, the guy
Nice.
loading up. His name's Mike. He's a really cool guy, really nice guy. He's like, hey, he's the guy driving the Bobcat.
Right.
Yeah,
and
so
there you are with
there I am with it.
Wow.
Yay.
So cool.
Yeah, that
It
is
is.
epically awesome.
So you said it works. Do you keep it stocked, or do you just
No, because I try not to drink soda unless it's like, for fun events or when I go
No,
to dinner
yeah.
or something. But I'm just like, also, why I would have to keep that thing on all the time because
The
I don't want to put
refrigerant,
stuff in
yeah.
and then take it, unplug it. So
Yeah, good point.
yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm probably gonna not plug it in. I probably won't have it stocked unless I, have a cool fun party where I'm
Yeah.
just like, hey,
There you go.
I also have the R2D2 the cooler,
The cooler, yeah,
I
ice,
have that
yeah.
too. Everyone gets a kick out of that when I have parties because I feel
Yeah,
we put the drinks in that cooler and everyone gets a kick out of the rolling cooler.
That's cool.
That's another piece I've been looking for quite a while.
Yeah. I feel like they released that thing, I feel like, for almost every movie, right? Because they had right? Yeah.
Episode 1, 2, and 3.
1, 2, and 3. Yeah.
I have one from 3, but the dome is really fragile these days. It's dried out.
Yeah.
Well, with the re-release of Phantom Menace in a couple months, who knows? Maybe they'll start to resurface again. Wouldn't that be kind of cool?
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
So here is my only thrift store find ever in existence. This is the 1983 Return of the Jedi lightsaber.
That's cool.
That is cool.
I paid $1.50 for 2 of these.
Those are cool. That's it.
Yep. So this is
cool.
it. This is my only claim to fame right here.
That's awesome.
That is very cool.
I would love to find. Oh, that's a cool find for $1. Yeah, $1.50.
Yeah, that was an epic find for $1.50 for sure.
It's just the best.
But that is pretty much it around here. That's other than an occasional comic book here and there, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I found some comics for you recently at over at at that used bookstore that's over by my place, and they had some cool. They had some of them were in good shape too, so it was and it was worth they're only a couple bucks a piece or something. But well, let's switch over into the Garbage Chute, which is your podcast that you do.
Yes, Into the Garbage Chute. I do a podcast with my friend Riley. Honestly, it's not we record when we feel like we have something to say and want to discuss. It's nice when the shows are out. You kind of want to talk it with your pal, and it's like, oh, why not invite other people in the conversation, right? But yeah, Into the Garbage Chute. It's a fun, wacky podcast. Honestly, I just like doing it with my friend Riley. My friend Riley's the best. I just have the best time with her. She's super fun. We don't have a structure in our podcast. It's just chaotic and messy, just like the Garbage Chute is. So, but that's kind of our thing. So it's the vibe is, hey, you go to happy hour with your friends and you guys are just talking Star Wars over a drink and chaos ensues. So
newsflash.
Isn't that what happened with the two of us?
Isn't that all podcasts?
Something feels like it. There are definitely those days for sure.
Yeah, isn't that all podcasts? Yeah, no. So it's fun. Honestly, I just wanted to be able to have I think for me, what was important, I wanted to be able to express, myself other than just thrifting and collecting. I wanted to be able to kind of comment and talk, and again, just whatever I feel like we want to talk about, we can do it. I want to be able to kind of have like that creative outlet on the podcast. So it's been really fun.
That's cool. Yeah, and that's kind of how we started this. We couldn't spend enough time in each other's offices without getting the side eyes from our bosses, about talking Star Wars. So we were like, well, let's just start a podcast and we'll just talk about it, and so
it's fun.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
And then people come in and listen and enjoy the conversation, and it's cool. It's a fun thing. So
right on. So I was listening to your most recent episode, and you and your sister were fortunate enough to go see the first 3 episodes of Bad Batch at Lucasfilm. How cool was that? Yeah,
that was really fun. I've been fortunate. If you guys don't hear that, my cat is meowing.
It's all good.
I've been fortunate enough to do cool cool things, and have like really fun experiences. But yeah, I got invited to they had a Bad Batch screening of the first 3 episodes at Lucasfilm, which is really fun. And I was able to take a +1. My husband was working, so I called my sister and said, hey, you want to go take a drive to San Francisco and watch some Star Wars? And she's so easygoing. She's like, sure, let's do it. But we had a great time. Obviously, I like going to events like that just because you're with fans, and being able to see any Star Wars on the big screen, animation, anything, at the LDAC theater was just really fun. I mean, if you want like a good screen and great sound, that's the place to go. So really, really cool thing to be invited to and attend. Really fun to go with my sister. My sister has no idea what the Bad Batch is, who the Bad Batch was, and the 45 minutes on the drive up there, I was trying to like, this is the story, this is the blah 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 blah, yeah. And she loved it. She loved it so much that she went home and crushed the first 2 seasons, and now she is completely caught up.
Yeah.
Awesome.
She actually texted me today, and she said, dude, so good. I just love Crosshair so much. We love good character development.
Yeah.
So she's bought in. She's into it. And again, I talked a little bit about my history with Star Wars and how it's just been, I love enjoying it with my family. It's always been a thing. My sister, was a Star Wars fan too. She's my younger sister, but she experienced, everything that I experienced as a kid. But, her love doesn't go like crazy, like me. Like I just, I gotta take all the content in as much as I can. So it got her really excited to check out other things. She checked out the last season of the Clone Wars. She said she wants to start Rebels. So she's kind of like and I thought that was really cool, really fun. So I was able to kind of see that through her eyes. I'm like, wow, like this stuff still works. It's there's new fans coming in. So she's loving it, and it's been really fun to experience that with her. But
that's
Bad
awesome.
Batch.
That's awesome.
That's very awesome.
Yeah.
And I think based on the pictures that I saw, you're a big Wrecker fan because you got a Wrecker
Huge
helmet.
Wrecker fan.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I love Wrecker. Wrecker's my guy. I like to say Wrecker is the personality. If my dog was a genetically enhanced clone who is just a big, lovable teddy bear, Wrecker is just like the clone in my dog form. Like I don't know. I love Wrecker.
Right on.
Yeah. So
right on.
Huge Wrecker fan here.
Well, let's transition into that if you guys want to. Take a few minutes. Let's talk about the most recent. We haven't had a chance to talk about episodes 4 and 5, and so I thought we would kind of shift over into those really quick and talk about them for a few minutes. Bad Batch episode 4, A Different Approach, which was we saw the escape of Omega and Crosshair in the 3rd episode, and it opens right up with them flying through hyperspace and the ship's on fire and they're arguing about what's important first, and she's still trying to get messages off and he's dealing with so they end up crashing on the planet Lao, and it was a very cool story, I thought. It was really good bonding time. It was we always jokingly called it the Dad Batch, and in this episode, Crosshair gets referred to as her dad, which was hilarious. But they crash on this planet. They go to the local urban area. They're trying to get transport out. They realize they can bribe their way onto a ship, but they got to make some money. So they start playing a brand new game that has been introduced to the Star Wars universe. It is not Sabacc, and it's actually called Balans, Balans, and it's a new game that was created specifically just for this episode. And because she wins with a hand called the 3 Eastern Stars. And so they're earning the money. They got to get 30,000 in credits, which now makes you wonder what the value of a credit is, since in A New Hope, it was 15. Han just wanted 15,000 to transport, the 4 of them. And now it's like, it makes you wonder how much a credit is worth. But
yeah,
it's they got new outfits, which will be great for the toy line, right? So expect those action figures to come out at some point.
Oh, yay.
3 years.
Yeah, they are really poorly.
3
Those
years they'll come out.
right, those and the new those winter stormtroopers with the goggles and everything. I mean, they missed the why they didn't have those ready to launch after this episode
Yeah.
dropped is kind of crazy. We get Batcha gets kidnapped
Batcha.
by Captain.
That should have been the title of this episode. Batcha!
Mhm.
Batcha!
And so then they have to go. They have to do the right thing and go rescue Batcher, and then they end up, of course, they're doing everything Omega's way throughout the episode, much to Crosshair's dismay. But then in the end, he finally gets to go ahead and starts wrecking things. And I think my favorite scene was when the shuttle or the transport was starting to take off, and the guy in the goggles stands up from behind the counter there, and you just hear the and he gets blown away. And if you look closely, you could see the helmet starting to melt, and which is the animation was just phenomenal in this episode. But what did you guys think? Silver, we'll start with you. What'd you think about the episode?
Love the episode. Love the fact that we got these Omega Crosshair moments. They were able to, like you said, bond, and I thought it was a really, really fun. Just a really kind of isolated episode. Just them, trying to get off planet, and trying to move on. But really good. I love a good. I like being introduced to a new game. I, like you, was kind of like confused by the credits, because even there was a little kid outside asking for like an insane amount of credits.
Yeah.
I was like, what? That's insane. But no, honestly, it was a great episode. I like I obviously Crosshair, wants to just kind of keep moving, and Omega continues to be the moral compass and the heart of the batch, and just saying, no, we can't leave Batcher behind, just like we need to go back to free those clones on Mount Tantus, and just kind of having like that back and forth between them, and also just seeing like Omega just winning at the cantina just shows like just her experiences that she's learned, hanging out at Sid's place and stuff like that. So that was a really fun moment. But I will say that laugh out loud moment was that Stormtrooper, because I just thought, wow, that's a cool looking Stormtrooper, and just for him to just like get blown off out of frame was just a really, really fun thing. But yeah, I enjoy the episode just for the Crosshair and Omega dynamic.
Mm-hmm. Guys, that would be character development, by the way.
Yes, it would, and we love that.
Leave it alone.
DB.
Yes, everything she just said. No, I was actually having flashbacks of Solo, the Star Wars story movie, with Lando and Han, and here we are, we're gambling, and I kept waiting for somebody to be the big cheat. And it turns out to be the Imperial commander. I can't remember his name.
Captain Man.
Captain Man. That sounds like really bad knockoff Avenger character.
It does.
It's Captain Man.
That's what you get when you order it from Wish.
Yeah, right. But it was interesting how, there was a cheat, and we're going to kidnap the dog and charge you a fee and get all that winnings back. I thought these stories are so dark and twisted compared to what Star Wars started off as, this good versus evil, and now the evil's just really, really twisted. And
well, he kind of he represent Captain Man, kind of, it's a call back to Andor and the corruption that you see in the Imperial ranks. For sure. And he was voiced by Harry Lloyd. Scruffy, how about you?
Loved seeing more Crosshair. We didn't get enough Crosshair this whole time, so I'm really loving seeing Crosshair. Seeing the transition from good soldiers follow orders to, okay, there has to be a different way to do this. There has to be a different existence now. And I was just mad somebody kidnapped Batcher. That's just wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Epically wrong, man.
Mm-hmm. What do you guys think about the inclusion of Batcher? I think he's going to be obviously going to be a regular cast member for the rest of the season. So
you said it best earlier today. the family's back together and they got a dog.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So what's his butt's been replaced with a dog now?
Yeah.
Well, I've got some thoughts about Batcher's role, and I'll talk about it when we get into the next episode. But any final thoughts on this episode before we switch over to episode 5?
It was intense.
It was. Did you guys catch the Porg sound effect?
Yes.
Yeah. When all the creatures escaped.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then a lot of those two-legged ones, the stork-looking things, those were Abifer Void Striders, and we saw those in Clone Wars. You remember the series? There was the arc with the little miniature general and the droids, and they went on the mission, and they end up in the void on that planet where they find who was it, Gregor, I think, who's got amnesia. But there's a scene where they're riding these animals, and those are the animals that they're riding, those same ones. So they had a callback there, and then I'm assuming it's a Rathtar that finally gets Captain Man. In the end, so definitely
sure was.
And I couldn't have been happier for the guy, honestly. I thought
same here.
Right on. So okay, episode 5, the return. And of course there was a lot of speculation, a lot of the favorite part is knowing what the title is and then watching Twitter go crazy with theories about what it's going to be and the return of who and everything. And there had been a rumor that episode 5 was going to be the bounty hunter episode, but obviously it was not. So episode 5, and in episode 4, when Hemlock shows up, he makes the statement to pull or to get a hold of all of our resources, I think he says, or something to that effect, operatives or something, and set them loose. So we know the chase is coming. It's coming pretty soon. Episode 5, the return, opens up with Omega sleeping in the Marauder with her Tuca doll, and Scruffy knows all about the Tucas and the Tuca dolls.
Yes.
Our latest Wooks Up episode that just dropped on Wednesday, he did tea for Tuca and Tuca dolls. So if you want to learn more about the dolls and what Tucas are, just listen to that episode. Or
just look at Scruffy's personal collection of Tuca dolls.
There you go.
Really?
So they wake up.
Like you're one to talk.
She wakes up, goes down into the main cabin area, sees Hunter and Wrecker, and she gets some fruit, and right away I kind of picked up where they were because they said it was from Shep and Leona. The fruit, which obviously indicated they were on Pabu, which they are. So everybody. So in the ending of episode 4 too, you finally saw the crew coming back together, and then they end it right before they really say anything. And of course, so the speculation for the whole week was, well, we need to see the conversation. We need to see and that's kind of what this episode turned into. As brothers are wont to do, they don't talk about it at first. They kind of go on with their business. And it's not until later when things are finally happening in the story that Hunter and Crosshair finally kind of have it out or air their grievances and everything. But I thought, again, it was a really good episode. We got the return of, and with a lot of titles in Star Wars animation, the title usually refers to multiple things. So in this case, it was the return of a lot of things. It was the return of Crosshair into the fold and them accepting them. It was the return to this planet they go to, which is Barton 4, which of course we know is one of probably the best episodes of Bad Batch from last year with poor Mayday. And it was also the return of Crosshair's toothpick, which was pretty good. And but a cool little caveat which popped up on Twitter this week, when she comes down, Hunter and Wrecker are drinking something, and you kind of assume it's coffee. But Joel Aaron, who is the director of cinematography, lighting, and effects for the animation at Lucasfilm, actually posted on Twitter to somebody's comment and called it's Mugen tea. MooganT. So they're tea drinkers. But kind of a cool little detail, I thought. But also Echo returns in this episode. The Crosshair's armor returns in this episode. There was a nice moment of silence, I thought, for Tech at the table there. And you're starting to see all the repercussions of everything. But long story short, too late. They're going to take the data pad over to Barton 4, plug it into an Imperial terminal to try to find more details on where Tantus is. And before I turn it over to everybody, I said I would mention, I think where one of my favorite things is turning into now is watching Batcher in the background and just watching Batcher do what Batcher does. And whether it's digging in the snow to help him dig out that door,
awesome.
playing with the little monkey creatures on Pabu, or he'll just run down the ramp really fast, and he just with that happy-go-lucky look on his face. And what struck me was, I think that his Batcher's personality is kind of taking over the role that Wrecker had in the original season of that fun-loving, carefree. Oh, nice. Yubcast. Yeah, Matt from Yubcast is going to definitely add that into Wikipedia. So, but I think that's what Batcher's role is going to become. He's really kind of bringing that, because we've seen Wrecker kind of mature a little bit through the experiences that they've had. But let's turn it over to see what everybody thought. And Droidbait, we'll start with you this time.
Well, I kind of see Batcher as a less irritating Jar Jar Binks. Good-natured and want to help, but doesn't have a really racist accent. So, and also, she reminds me of one of my dogs, just happy and wants to be there and wants to please you.
Right on. Yeah. Right.
And
on.
The other thing, well, two things about this episode. I love how they went back to this planet and the snow is much deeper, because it hasn't been tended. Everything's buried, including those sensors are buried almost to the top, which I like that detail. But we also have to thank Frank Herbert for giving us the sandworm or the snow worm, as the case may be. Because when I saw that, I went, oh my God, they're borrowing straight from Dune, which just hit theaters. How convenient is that? A snow worm, which was kind of cool. This was a monster story, but you knew that the entire point of the story was to get Hunter and Crosshair to hash out their crap. And you kept waiting for them to come to blows, and you knew they were going to have to work it out to survive this monster. Like, what did Wrecker say? Something about, why is there always a monster, So
right on.
What a great episode.
Silver, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I love the episode. I like that we continued on from from last episode, kind of just like them reuniting and then having to deal with each other. Whether we've had experiences of just having to have those tough conversations, whether you wronged someone or you've been wronged, and it's just really hard to kind of come to terms with that, and just seeing them kind of struggle with that in the beginning, Omega kind of pushing it, but also just like even Tech telling Omega like they're gonna work it out on their own. And the sand ice swarm was really funny after watching Dune in theaters this weekend. I was just like, oh, that's really funny. And that's really fun. But yeah, I think what the show has done really good is just like, I think just like those moments that just make you that just really humanizes everything, and just like, brings out like these emotions, and just seeing them how, just at my favorite scene is after when actually my favorite shot is Crosshair sitting there with Batcher and Hunter, and it's almost like they kind of like taking a beat, and then they can kind of have that conversation. Was really, really really special. But I'm just like, Batcher is someone who I feel like I'm stressed over. I just want to make sure Batcher is okay. But yeah, I love the Batcher of it all. Just kind of fitting seamlessly with the Bad Batch. So that's always a fun moment. But when Batcher is digging that snow, I just thought that was the sweetest thing. But I think what I love about Batcher, I think Batcher just parallels so much of just the Bad Batch, and mainly just Crosshair. It's just they were, a science experiment that just really couldn't get controlled. They kind of like, fought against it, and that's what makes them, who they are. And so that's been really fun. But just a lot of I think just like the moments between just the reconciliation with Hunter and Crosshair having that conversation at the end was really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't it interesting that Crosshair was the first to really apologize, though?
Mm-hmm.
The tough guy who was clearly in the wrong was the first to go, "Hey, I screwed up."
We love good character development.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, love
Brum
it.
Leader does.
Yes,
We
I
love
do.
Yes, he does.
I do. He was. There was also a cool point in the original 3 episodes where finally he called Omega, and he had always called her the kid before that, and I thought that was so. Yeah, you're definitely seeing it. And at first I thought when you kind of got the feeling that at the end of episode 3, when you knew Batcher was going to join him and be hanging out with the Bad Batch, you get that feeling for the rest of the season. I thought, well, of course, now you're going to see like some real bonding between Wrecker and Batcher, and I could just see the two of them rolling around, wrestling, having fun. But I think it's going to be, after these 2 episodes, I think it's really going to be more Crosshair and Batcher. And Crosshair's the dad that didn't want the dog, but now that he's got the dog, he's they're going to be best friends, I think. And Scruffy, what'd you think about the episode?
I loved it. It was the episode I expected that was coming. I knew this. We knew we had to have this episode. I didn't expect to see us go back to what was the place? What was it called?
Barton 4.
Barton 4. Yes, I didn't see that coming, but I loved. I'm beginning. Batcher's growing on me. He's no Vorpak, but he's growing on me, and. I think it's because everybody had a dog like Batcher.
Mm-hmm.
He reminded me of Oliver, or he's just that fun-loving dog who wants to do everything with you and be there. So, and I did love the I shudder to say this out loud because boy, I'm going to hear about it for days. Character development with Crosshair, and where he's, like I said before, we're beginning to see that transition from good soldiers follow orders to I have to reconcile this. I have to make amends. I'd love to see him put the armor back on. I thought that gave me a little chill there to see him put the armor back on, and Wrecker say, I don't know if this will still fit. As we all know what happens when it shrinks when it's in storage.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I got a whole closet full of stuff that has shrunk in storage.
Right on. One cool little thing somebody pointed out on Twitter, and I wish I had taken a picture of this. Another cool little detail: if you look at Echo's helmet and the pattern, because they're all getting different patterns on their on their armor now, and Echo's helmet was being held by Hunter in the original season 1. They did those photos where they all show the Bad Batch lined up next to each other holding their helmets. And if you go back and you look at the helmet Hunter's wearing, Echo's now wearing it.
Huh.
Which I thought was kind of a weird little thing. But okay, so
And then one thing I'm missing, where's Tech? He can't be dead. I can't let that go. Hashtag we need Tech.
Tech lives.
Tech lives.
Tech lives. Yes.
I have so of course, when they dropped that trailer, I posted on Twitter, I said, my headcanon, and you're not arguing with me, is that it's the Clone X figure, that we see on Pabu in the still shot of Pabu in the trailer. And maybe not, maybe it's the story of, where he's been brainwashed by Hemlock, and he's a Clone X trooper now, or I have a feeling if they're going to bring him back, they're either going to bring him back that way, or he's just going to appear out of the blue one day. And he's just, like things are going to be going crazy, and all of a sudden Tech's just going to walk in. I have a feeling like it's going to be.
He's going to save them? Out of the blue?
Something like you'll see a hand pick up the goggles, and then you'll see, you know what I mean?
Oh my gosh!
Wouldn't that be something?
That would be insane.
Right, and so I think it's going to be one. If he comes back, I think it's going to be one of those 2 ways, but for sure. So and real quick, and we won't go very long on this, but the next 2 episodes, which are a double drop this next Wednesday, is
yeah.
Wow.
they're entitled Infiltration and Extraction. And where do we think that those stories might be taking place? Scruffy, we'll start with you.
I don't know. I need time to think about this.
Right. Because they've been hinting, there was drops even between Echo and Omega at the end of this episode talking about we got to go back to rescue our clone brothers at Tantus.
Well, I don't see that being over the next 2 episodes though.
Right. Could that be what we saw in the trailer with Clone X and a bunch of troopers on Pabu, and they're going after Omega? Could that be infiltration and extraction? I don't know.
Well, listen, yeah. When
I
they said they had that data pad still, I'm like, that thing does not have a tracker on there. Are you sure?
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Hello?
And they just plugged it into an Imperial port.
Yeah, really?
Mhm.
I
So
don't
they
know.
just
Even if it's
activated it.
offline, really? We can't track that thing?
Yeah, so they just activated it, and yeah.
But overall, we've got 10 episodes to go. So we're only a third of the way through. Oh man, we're a third of the way through the season.
Well, thanks for depressing me.
Yeah, go glass half
No.
empty. Thanks.
I don't want it to end.
Yeah, I don't either.
But the following 10 titles: so Infiltration, Extraction, Bad Territory, The Harbinger, Identity Crisis, Point of No Return, Juggernaut, Into the Breach, Flash Strike, and The Cavalry Has Arrived.
Oh,
See,
man.
there's that last 4 titles. Those last 4 or 5 titles. That's Tantus. They're going into Tantus.
I think
Especially
so too.
The Cavalry Has Arrived. It's like,
That's
it.
yeah.
That's
That's
but
the
as
ultimate
a-
mission.
And then that's the first words uttered by somebody in Bad Batch was the cavalry has arrived when
Right.
they landed on the base at in Clone Wars.
Clone Wars, yeah. First
Yep.
line. I have a feeling that if they're taking on Tantus, I think what that's going to be is you'll see Rex, Cody, everybody that's out there. All the clones coming together to attack Tantus. I think probably in that episode. But cool. I think that was a great talk about Bad Batch so far. Definitely looking forward to more of that. Let's switch over into Collection Corner really quick, and we'll start to wrap this up. Collection Corner is a segment where it's just kind of go around. I know we talked a lot about collecting at the beginning of this episode, but we just talk about anything we've added to our collections recently or any kind of key pieces we want to show off. And Scruffy, I know yesterday was Comic Book Wednesday.
Yesterday was Comic Book Wednesday, of course. I did pick up a couple new issues, but what I did pick up
Is that up?
Nice.
Issue
that
1?
is number 1.
Battlestar Galactica.
I have
Nice.
number 1 through number 23 now. I have the whole set.
Oh,
I
wow.
bought it all in one sweep.
Oh, that's awesome.
Had to be done.
Very,
I
very.
also picked up all 4 issues of
Yes.
the Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh, yeah.
I also borrowed this epically awesome movie. It is basically it's Turkish Star Wars.
Have you watched it yet?
No, I have not. I have not.
I seriously was taking a fork to my eyes at the end of that movie.
Oh, I
Yeah.
bet. I cannot wait to see how
Oh.
terrible it is. And then I have somebody working on a project for me. This is going to be replacing the trim piece on the Subaru Outback, and basically it spells Outback in Arubish.
Oh,
This
that's
is the,
cool.
This is the test print. He's going to reprint the final piece in black with red lettering. And I have
Nice.
to wait until after vacation, after I get back from vacation, so
Again?
that Mrs. Scruffy doesn't see it, and hopefully she won't notice. So I'll wait till after
Sweet.
vacation before I do that. Yeah.
Nice. DB.
I broke my spending moratorium, and I'm not going to talk about what I got until next week because I need to inspect it. A gentleman that we know from our time at the Nashville convention who owns a store in Wisconsin was having a fire sale basically this week, and I couldn't pass up some deals, and I'll talk about that next week. But what I did do this week, I was pulling out some more of the original stuff from the 70s. I pulled out the my original dewback and cleaned them all up and put them into
Nice.
Oh,
the
nice.
stuff. I pulled out my original TIE fighter that I know I've told the story 1,000 times that the wings wouldn't stay on. My dad drilled holes into it and put plugs in so the wings. I dismantled the entire thing to clean it inside and out, and I'm happy to have that on the shelf. And then
That's awesome.
I pulled out my large size action figure. So these are all new to me after 35, 40 years. My large size Chewbacca action figure from 1978, his arms fell off.
Oh no.
Well, it's just held by an elastic band in there, and
Yep.
those tend to dry out after 40 years.
Mhm.
And so I was watching some repair videos, and just today I got some stuff in the mail to repair his arms. And
Nice.
hopefully next week I can show them to you guys here on screen when I put them back together. So
I have a Darth Vader I need to do that with.
I've got the parts to fix them. After I do it, I'll show you how to do it.
Love it.
Nice.
Very cool. Very cool. Silver, do you have anything you'd like to show off?
Wait, are you a collector?
Yeah. Wait, what, me?
Seriously?
I actually was busy on Saturday. I wasn't actually, it rained Saturday. So all the flea markets were just not, out of commission.
Mm.
But we had a San Jose Toy Expo. So a lot of toy collectors, we had a big toy convention. We have so many amazing vintage toy shops in the area. So when they all get together to have this big old expo in like a convention hall, it's so much fun. But I actually put this away, so I didn't bring it with me. But I did find this Return of the Jedi pajama set.
Oh yes, I have seen that. I am been
nice.
so. Ever since you posted that picture, I've been thinking
It's
about
brand
that
new.
set.
It's still in the pack.
That is so awesome.
So
Wow.
it's pretty awesome. I got it for $15. So
That's awesome.
Oh, that's
Serious.
dirt cheap
Yeah.
too. That's
That's
awesome.
dirt
awesome.
cheap. So yeah, I mean, I got it. It was at a toy expo, so they were just like, $15. I'm like, oh, all right, sure, why not?
Yeah, no kidding.
So that's been really that was a really cool little pickup for me.
That's
Little
awesome.
weekend.
Very cool. So this is something I talked about a long time ago, but it was before we were doing live stream. But this was one of the finds that my wife, Mrs. Brown Leader, found at a thrift
Nice.
shop.
The mug shot.
Yeah, and 50 cents at a thrift shop. So, and mint condition, and it's been a great coffee mug ever since. But very cool.
Awesome.
Very cool. Well, Silver, it has been a joy to have you on. You are welcome on the show anytime you want to come on and nerd out with us.
Let me know.
Yeah. why
Thank
don't
you for having me, you guys. This was fun.
Why don't you tell everybody where they can find you?
Yeah, I always hate plugging myself in because I'm just like, just Star Wars Thrifting on the internet, Twitter or X, whatever we're calling it these days, Instagram.
Twix.
Twix. Yeah, Twix. That's a good one. So Twix on Star Wars Thrift. I'm on Instagram, Star Wars Thrifting. I'm really more active on Instagram because I like to just post stories of just like at the flea market. So you'll see me really active on the weekends because I'm just at the flea market digging and stuff, and I like to post stories there. Also follow Into the Garbage Chute. Star Wars Thrifting on YouTube. We have an Into the Garbage Chute podcast. You can watch videos, or you can just listen to us. We're on all the podcasting platforms.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, definitely. I've been listening to you guys recently, and definitely thumbs up, and encourage everybody to go over and check out the podcast. So for sure. So Silver, before we let you go, something we do with all of our guests on the show, all of our guests become honorary members of Brown Squadron. So with that, you get a flight designation and a call sign. So if you come back on the show, you're always welcome to sign in with us. So you are part of the crew now, and your flight designation is Brown 43, and your call sign is Tika.
I love that.
So we thought that would be a fun one to give out.
That's a good one, guys. Thank you. I'm honored.
Well, thank you for coming on the
You
show.
have to guys invite me back on so I can use the call sign.
Oh, without a doubt. You're welcome. Anytime you want to come on, you're welcome to join us and nerd out with us. So
thank you guys. I love this.
Absolutely. So I think with that, we're gonna get out of here tonight, guys. So there's something that we do. I'll do the sign off, and then after I do the sign off, we all just chime in and say that's no moon. So, so with that, I think that's going to conclude the live stream for tonight, everybody. Audio edition will be up in a few days. So this is Brown Leader signing off for the crew, and you've been listening and watching Hyperspace Heroes. That's
That's
no
no
moon.
moon. Excellent.